Welcome to the Athletes in Motion podcast, from race to recovery, with your hosts, Tom Riegel and Kenny Bailey.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Kenny, how are you?
I am fantastic because we have Sarah and Elizabeth on.
Yay.
Welcome.
Year-end wrap-up.
Yeah.
We get to hear all the good details from this year that we've been following along on the triathlete's journey. So welcome back.
Welcome. Before we get started, we want to make sure that people like and subscribe to this
Please do.
Wonderful podcast, because that's what helps the algorithms and helps us continue to put these things on. So
Yes.
Please do that. So
Right now,
Sarah and
do it.
Elizabeth.
We'll wait a second. Go.
Okay, yeah.
Click the button. There you go. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Perfect.
So let's to take everyone back, way back when, in the beginning of the year, we asked volunteers to come talk about their journey on their triathlon for the year. And Sarah, you graciously agreed to help us with the idea of doing your first ever triathlons, sprint distance triathlons. And Elizabeth was coming off of a frustrating race of 99 miles, being pulled from a full Ironman to trying to do a repeat this year. So fast forward to now, we've done it. Congratulations. It's the end of the year. First, I guess your first question I have, and we'll start with Sarah, was when we started this, you had kind of this anxiety or excitement and kind of wanting to do it. Now that it's December and you're looking back, how was it?
Yeah.
Did it meet expectations?
Thanks for having me back on. Yeah. So, I had signed up for one triathlon and then it became two. And I was like, I think that'll be it. I'm going to accomplish my goal. And you all had told me if I would either get the bug or not. And I absolutely got the bug. I ended up doing 5 triathlons across the season.
5.
5.
Awesome.
1 to 5. That's a jump.
Yes. So after number 2, I finished and said, I absolutely love this one. Can I do another one? So it was a ton of fun and absolutely lived up to the expectation and exceeded it. Yeah.
Good.
Now we've talked about community and being a part of a club and doing all of that. You've been very integral in the Nashville Tri Club and helping out and being a part of a lot of the workouts and stuff. Do you think that added to your desire to do more races and to be more of the community? Do you think that had a big play in it?
I think that absolutely had a huge play in it. So I think we had talked about initially on the podcast, that was already a huge part of it for me, just finding this great community and feeling really supported and welcomed in, even as a beginner. And that has continued to prove true. I actually ended up joining the Nashville Triathlon Club board, which has been really fun.
Nice.
I help them out with social media, which has been fun and a good way to get involved. But yeah, every single race that I did was with people from Nashville Triathlon Club, either like traveling to it with them, signing up with them. The last race that I did was a super last minute thing that I signed up for, traveled with 2 people in the club, and another friend in the club wasn't able to go. So I actually took his registration and did the race that he was going to do. He just gave it to me and said, hey,
We don't condone that activity.
I can't go. No, he couldn't go because of some work things. And so he said, I can't go. I can transfer my registration to you. And so I ended up doing that, which was super fun. I never thought I would race in the ocean. Yeah, I raced under my own, name, not someone else's name. Not in
Carl.
Carl, you're pretty fast.
Yeah. I was not racing as Chuck on that race. So, but yeah, no, I think that's absolutely been a part of it. And one of the races I ended up doing was a relay, and that was with one person from the club and then a friend who had never done a triathlon, and they came and ran. But the club support and the relationships there has absolutely been part of what pushed me to kind of get to the starting line on the first race, and then has continued to compel me and kept me in it for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Now, Elizabeth, I think for you, it was slightly different because I think there was a lot of pressure. Like Sarah came in kind of wide-eyed and like, this is great. This is a community. You had this thing, where it's like, I got pulled at mile 99. And as we went across through the year, you became very popular. And not only that, but I think
So
Ironman
ridiculous.
highlighted you, right, on race day. So
Yeah.
with that, when you look back on that, with the injury that you had and all that, as you're able to now kind of, eat and not have to worry about it, which is the best part of, how do you, when the year started versus kind of what you feel now?
Let's see. When the year started, I was very excited and was, looking forward to the whole season and everything. During the whole season, I was very pumped and excited. And when the Ironman race came along, of course, that was really exciting. And then all the surprising notoriety. I'm now not, they can't call me mile 99 anymore. So that's kind of nice. But
that monkey gets to be thrown off, right?
No,
So.
I would actually run into people and they're like, "Oh, mile 99." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's
great."
Yeah,
isn't that great?
so, yeah.
To get known for your failure. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's awesome. And I mean, now that it's done, I know when I finished and you guys talked to me like right afterwards, I was so excited and ready to go do it again.
So now, how do you feel?
I'm such a slug right now. I'm like the biggest slug in the whole world.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I'm like, workout? I don't feel like it right now.
Yeah.
So I've turned into a big slug right now. So.
Well, I think with winter and everything else, I think everybody turns into a slug. I stare at a pool right now and I'm like, I don't even want to. No.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth, how
That's
many races had you done previous to this one? So you've been doing this for a bit, right?
Oh yeah, probably. Gosh, I don't even know how many races at this point because it was. I mean, I've been doing it for 15, 20 years, I guess. I can't even remember when the first. I mean, I remember the first one. I like it was yesterday, but I don't even remember when it was.
When it was,
But I do. I still know that feeling of that first one. I can remember crossing that finish line, first sprint, and then being the adrenaline rush from it. And I actually went to a party that afternoon in the Bay Area, which is a little bit of a drive, and I was still just like going. Everybody's like, "Aren't you tired?" I'm like, "No." So I do remember the first one, but it was just so long ago that I couldn't even tell you how many I've done since then. So
So there were certain aspects, Sarah and Elizabeth, there were certain aspects that you were probably nervous about. Like, I'm nervous about X. And then when you actually did the races, did that come to fruition? Or was it something that was more you built up in your head? Or was there an unexpected thing that happened? And maybe we can start with Sarah, kind of, oh my gosh, this unknown thing. And did it come to fruition? Or was it something that was just sort of you built up in your head?
Yeah, I should probably listen back to my episodes. I think it was like, a blur now, but I think I was nervous about transitions, if I remember right, and nervous about just like having the right equipment and then getting to the run because that's my least favorite and it's at the, it's the back and it's long. I think that transitions overall went pretty well. My worst was actually my last one, and I swam my first time in the ocean, and I swallowed a lot of ocean water. I also got stung by a jellyfish.
Oh my gosh.
And just a little one.
Okay. Well, in that case,
in transition, I was not feeling real good. So it's definitely my longest transition, which you would think like, okay, I've done 5. I've done one every month. My friends started calling them what's your monthly triathlon? Like, what do you have this month? What's coming up? So it was my fifth month, fifth triathlon, slowest transition time. But we'll blame the ocean water. I've already signed up to try that one again. So
Oh, neat.
But yeah, so I think the transitions went well, and I actually ended up trying a couple of the races I did were aqua bikes instead of the full 3 discipline triathlon, thinking that I would like that better because it had no running. And actually the 2 that I did, when I finished biking, I was like, oh, I feel like I could go run for a little bit. And so that surprised
Expectation
me
was set
a
here.
lot.
Yeah,
that surprised me a lot. So so I'm kind of maybe not going to do aqua bikes. I'm going to keep trying the full triathlon thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth, I know, obviously I think for yours, the bike was the big bugaboo kind of thing, but I know you trained for it. Was there something for you that was like the scary monster that you just had to face and sort of get through? What was that? And just to back up, if people that don't know Elizabeth, we were talking to you all year. Your approach and your attitude was extremely just, people fed off your positivity. People fed off the fact that, yeah, it's a step back, but it's a step back and I'm aware of it. And here I'm going to, there's only, when you're going through hell, there's only one direction. Right. So, so as a background with that, was there something that as you got started, what was that one thing that you were like, okay, I just, this is the thing? What was it?
I would say just knowing my times and trying to be fast enough. And my biggest worry was the run, because I mean, going into it from the very beginning, I'm not a quick runner anyway. So that was a problem. And then of course, turning it into a walk and that whole part. So I'd say that part was probably the thing that was worrying me the most. You guys know I trained hard on my bike. I worked on my bike, and that was the goal, to get past that bike ride. Right. And then, so I'd say it's always going to be the run. And I actually do like running. I'm just not good at it. And in fact, the CIM just happened here a couple weeks ago, and my sister-in-law was running it, and I've done it a couple times. And my husband and I, when we were out watching it, it's like, we should do this again.
For those who don't know, it's the California International Marathon. Happens in December. It's Boston qualifier, and it's a huge number of people that run that thing. I mean, in the thousands. It's one of the largest races. It's an amazing race. It is really, and luckily for me, it runs through my neighborhood, basically. So you just can to go over there. In fact, I did a half marathon that day because I was running around trying to see my sister. And it was the most I'd moved since the Ironman.
Nice.
But,
she's got compression pants on when she gets home. She hasn't been in a race. It's like, give me a water.
I was like, why do I hurt so bad? But
so you had a torn meniscus is the reason why. What is the update on that? Are we doing something with that?
My doctor.
Sorry. Didn't expect that as an answer. That
guy. You should know to expect the unexpected out of me by this point.
That is true. By now, yes.
Went to the doctor, right after I finished everything. Let's find out. Let's get this done so I can get back out and do what I want to do. Right. And he's all, oh, well, it's not that bad. Looks like it's not as bad as I thought. Oh, maybe there's no reason for surgery. I'm like, okay. So could I have run all that time and just, got through the pain or whatever? And so I'm kind of irritated with the gentleman, but, so right now, I mean, as long as I'm not doing a lot of stuff, it doesn't even really bug me. So I don't know if the meniscus thing is so weird to me because, I've read so much about it, and it's like, oh, it can't heal itself. Oh, it can heal itself. Did it heal? So I don't even know what happened, but it's not so bad that I need surgery. So there we are.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's time to get a new doctor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, second opinion.
It's time to get a second opinion. Hey, doc, it hurts when I do that. Don't do that. Well, no, that's not. No, I'm going to do that. That's going to happen. That's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Your doctor's just kind of casually telling you that, right? Well, if you don't run on it, you'll be fine. I'm going to do a marathon. So
right. So, and it was actually pretty funny too, because my husband actually went into the doctor appointment with me this time because, those second ears is always good. And we were talking about, knee replacements, those different things. And he's all, oh yeah, once you have a knee replacement, you can never do a marathon. You can't do anything again. And then I talked to Coach Tim, and he's all, I have lots of guys that power walk marathons. So I'm like, it's time for a new doctor.
Yeah. I was going to say, time to move on.
Speaking of that, on 2024, Sarah, what do you have? It sounds like you have a race already lined up. Now that you're on the board and you're practically a rock star now, and I don't know if you're running for Mayor of Franklin to replace Seth, right? What are the plans for 24 other than global domination?
Yes. Well, no mayoral candidacy
No.
in my views.
Yeah.
I like Freddie. Glad he's here for Nashville.
There you go.
Yeah, but I actually have signed up for 3 races already, believe it or
Nice.
not. So I'm doing the Nashville Women's Triathlon, which was my first one that I did.
Mhm.
I've actually become the cover girl for Team Magic, now Magic Sports. They put my picture as like the picture
Look
for
at
the
you.
race, which
Yeah.
is hilarious. So I'm going to do that. I have 2 friends joining me who are doing their first ever triathlons.
Yay.
So I hope to recruit some more. And I'm going to do some training with Tom for that as
Nice.
well. So
Mhm.
we'll give a little plug if there's any Nashville ladies listening, come join the fun.
Yeah.
And then I'm signed up for the Music City Triathlon. I signed up for the Olympic distance because I really
Ooh.
want to jump off the General
Ooh.
Jackson showboat.
Yes.
And
Yes. You have to jump off a perfectly good boat. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
it.
Right?
Nothing like a little diesel
Right?
fuel mixed
Yeah.
in with your
I know,
with your
I
water.
know.
It's,
So, yeah, I had prom on that boat some years ago, and
Oh,
so
look
it
at
feels
you.
only
So
fitting to then
fitting.
Then you want to jump off
it.
it. Makes sense.
Sober
And-
this time. Oh, what? I'm sorry.
No.
Well,
You know.
Small private Christian school. They were a little strict
Yeah, I
on,
wasn't gonna.
but and then I'm signed up for the Gulf Coast Triathlon. Those
Nice.
are all Magic Sports races, formerly Team Magic. But loved that, and am talking about maybe doing a half relay with friends.
Mhm.
Nice.
Not ready to do a full half. I'm still in grad school through the spring, and so kind of keeping my sights on sprints and Olympics, but maybe doing the swim portion of a half.
Okay.
with some friends.
Nice. Well, very
Yeah,
cool.
and that's 1.2 miles of sheer fun. So
Yes, I know. Well,
so-
it's my favorite. I was
Yeah.
looking
Yeah,
at
that's
my Strava Wrapped today, which just came out, and they rank like how much time you spend on all of the sports. Swim was my top.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
It's
at you.
not everyone's, but it is for
Yeah.
sure far and
Yeah,
away my
yeah.
favorite. So
Yeah. And Elizabeth, is it you don't care right now? Which is perfectly fair, right? It's like I don't care. Like I'm gonna get through Christmas. I'm gonna get, through the end of the year, and I'll talk next year.
Yeah, that's I was very enthusiastic after my Ironman. Like, I'm gonna go do this and this and this, and I'm like, I don't know. I do. There's a Olympic distance that they're going to be doing that's new out here, and that's going to be swim in Lake Natoma and then bike around Lake Natoma, I think twice, and then the run. And that one, I have my eye on that one of anything I'm going to do. But the rest is like, it's just out there, and I don't really have any plans. My main plan is it's been hanging out with the dog, just, chilling. So
Nothing wrong with that. So
yeah, and who knows, maybe CIM if my husband and I get.
Oh, there you go.
So
I think it's funny because most people, when they get done with like, I'm never going to do that again, and you get done with it like, I'm going to do that again, and then you're like,
let me think about it.
Yeah. So usually it's the other way around. Like, I'm never doing that again, and then 2 weeks later, you're like, okay, I'm probably going to go do that again. So that's hilarious. Well, ladies, we just have to say thank you very much for being part of our program, for sharing your stories, both the highs and the lows. I know, it's great that you guys are part of the community and that you're triathletes. I mean, that's how you guys are. And with Elizabeth, I think we had you on for several months. And going through the highs and the lows, and like, look, everything from, I got a torn meniscus. Now I don't know what to do. I've, my bike splits are going well. And then and we saw you get healthier and better and more confident as you got into it. And Sarah, you going from, from this is going to be crazy to all, now you're part of the board of the National Tri Club, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So we would, we'll hold you off Elizabeth for one side, but Sarah, if you want to join us again next year to kind of share your stories, we'd love to have you. We think just sharing those stories and watching people, race your first kind of Olympic distance, and how that's different from a sprint. It's closer to a half than it is to a sprint.
Yeah.
And so it starts getting serious at sort of that distance, right? You can wake up and do a sprint. You can kind of wake up and do an Olympic, but it's going to hurt a lot. So
I don't know if I can wake up and do an Olympic. Speak for yourself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You just can't, if you, Well, if you try real hard.
You got to mess around with it.
Tom can do
Try
it. Tom
out.
can wake up and do a freaking, Ultraman. So we just follow Tom's lead. So
I just don't wake up. It's much easier if you just stay
That's
asleep.
easier.
It's
Oh,
over
I
before
missed
you
the
know it.
buzzer.
You're
Oh,
like, hey, wow, I'm
I
here.
slept
I'm
in for
done.
that one.
I just
Oh, darn.
I just slept through the whole thing. It's all
Speaking of
perfect.
which, Sarah, since you're part of the Nashville Tri Club, could you convince them to start these races at like 9 a.m. rather than these like really early, 6:30, 7 a.m. times? I hate
I have a
being up in the
great
morning.
run for you, Kenny, that starts
I
at
would
6
be a
p.m.
fan.
You can do this great run in Alabama that starts at 6 p.m. It's only the middle of
Yeah.
the summer. It's perfect. It's
But
your
then
type
you have
of
to
race.
run through the night, I
Yes.
believe.
Yeah, I think it's 100 miles total, which I don't
No,
really,
it's a lot less than that. It's only 100K.
Oh, okay.
It's only 100K.
Oh, okay. In that case, 62 miles, no big deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, thank you very much. Thank you for joining our crazy little journey.
Yes.
I'll let Tom speak for himself,
Really,
but we both
really
enjoyed getting
appreciate
to know you guys.
Yeah, really appreciate you coming on. And I think and I hope everyone got a good feeling of the highs and lows that happen with this, but also the sense of community. I mean, I keep coming back to this because the community is special. And I know the community here is really special, but I know, Elizabeth, you're in a big community out there that's
Yeah.
special as well. And I hope our reoccurring theme is that we can overcome a lot of these goals that we set for ourselves and these challenges that we have and setbacks we have trying to do all of this because of that community, because they pull us in and hold us accountable and hold us up and kind of bring us forward. So I think that's a huge thing, and I think that's one takeaway I've gotten from speaking with everyone this year about the ups and downs is that the sense of community and how important it is for everybody in that part. So
Yep.
yeah, thank you so much for sharing your stories and being a part of this. So I think we'll wrap up for this year. It's exciting. We'll look forward to what you guys do next year and do all of that. So everybody, thanks for following along. We certainly appreciate it. The notes, the thumbs up, the 5 stars, all that great feedback that we get. Give us some tips and things that you want to see for next year. Anything else that we can be doing better, we look forward to that as well. So, and make sure to subscribe. Subscribe wherever the button will be floating around someplace at certain points. Hit that button and subscribe and follow along on social media as well. And we'll look forward to doing this again next year.